Alright. So, some rules to build constructs. Sounds good. So I think I have somewhere to start with that. Let's move back to top. And I'm going to actually go to the Dungeon Master's Guide. I believe there is actually... So, I believe there is... With this... Okay, hold up. I'm not using Notepad right now, so we're going to pull that down so you can see everything properly. There's a treasure in here. Magic items A to Z. There's a tome of building constructs that we might be able to use as a basis to start working off of. So, let's see. Tome. Control F, tome. Manual of Golems. Golems. Literally what I was looking for. Thank goodness for that. Alright. So let's use this as a basis. This tome contains information and incantations necessary to make a particular type of golem. DM chooses the type or determines randomly. So this is the first time I'm reading it, so I know it exists. I haven't read through it, so I need to read through this to figure out what we're even talking about to extent. That being said, yeah, there's definitely a lot of... I think, as a general rule, if you're having additional characters... Actually, there's an additional theme. Now that I'm thinking about it, there is additional theme we can use. Let's go back to top. We actually got something in Tasha's that we might be able to use with golems. At least for rules of how to manage them. Because I'm assuming, if they just want a summon or something, this is a good way to get a Zaman. A golem. The thing is, this is very expensive. This is random. This is very rare. It can change the game. And generally the idea is you want to maintain it and you want to keep it strong. The way we actually just got rules for this. Where are they? Sidekicks. Here we are. We literally just got rules for characters that stay around your level and do additional things to help out the party. They're basically... This is about additional characters. And a simple way to make a golem is a sidekick designed by the player character. They don't get any special abilities from being a goblin or anything like that. They're just kind of humanoid. But because your character built them, he is precisely built with you decide the exact ability score improvements. You decide the exact effects. I think most golems would be warrior, so, you know, they have their way of self-regeneration. They'd have improved critical hits, stuff like that. That would actually be really interesting. I think, generally speaking, golems can kind of be solved through a lot of it. Is there anything specific they're trying to do with golems? I think if we knew specifically what they were going with, like what levels they were, what were they planning for this to scale with them, things of that nature, is there like a specific ability they wanted to see? That would be something I could extend off of. Otherwise, sidekicks probably do a pretty good balancing job and make a character that adds to the party without completely without completely overempowering everything. Golem, like, it would be like a warrior that's more than okay to drop to 0 HP because you just have to repair them. And, yeah. I'm not just talking about golems. All constructs. So, yeah, so it could be a warrior for that. It could be a spellcaster for if you're having a construct that, like, is a special familiar, like, mechanical familiar, which, this starts to make me think about the Artificer. Let's pull back up. Artificer. They have a homunculus as one of their... gotta figure out where it is, but they have all the infusions. One of them is actually a homunculus. Here we are. So, the homunculus is just... Yeah, this is basically all minor golems. So you're trying to think of more major golems, though. Something that isn't a homunculus, but isn't like a Stone Guardian CR18. More or less, write an exercise, and that would be in it. So, what rules to build constructs? Okay, so I just realized I'm talking about what the golems finally are. You're talking about the actual process of building. Yeah, the assembling process. That's what I messed up. That's what I misunderstood. Do you certain amount of time based on their size and CR? Yeah, so I have actually what was it? I had a tier 3 campaign, and one of them multi-classes to Artificer, because they want to design inventions, and immediately one of the players was like, okay, I'm having problems running away from fights. Can you design, like, Attack on Titan style grappling belts? And so I remember we specifically had this conversation, and I started adding history. So this is actually how I built in history checks. Through the history checks and the investigations, they learned about crafting techniques as well as other crafters who have done similar themes. And yeah, exactly, intelligence stuff for their blueprints, like that. As I was saying, history, knowledge of the other crafters and how to craft. They ended up working together. Finally, they got all the pieces. They had to hunt for the pieces. Like, they needed mithril because they needed to keep all the metal lightweight for this grappling harness. They had a bard that was assisting them, playing beautiful music, basically giving bardic inspiration on their checks. They had all these themes all set up. They got additional assistance. They all, yeah. Basically, I just had, even when they were done, I still was like, okay, so you created the invention you wanted. You created what you wanted. But you still have the process of figuring out how to use it. So I like taught them, like, even in Attack on Titan, they needed time to train with the belt. So they had to work. There was still kinks in the system. I think that was one of the most important things. I think the most important thing to do with constructs is it's a story. It's a story of invention, which means every invention doesn't come out best the first time. There's going to be kinks in your construct. It's going to go flying, and the first time it falls over. Then it finally succeeds, but it's not as precise. You tell it to fly, turn around, it takes a full round for it to finally hover around and turn. Like, suddenly you start realizing, okay, I need to start making it more precise. Mithril was great, but now I need to start weakening the harnesses. We need a special leather. I believe Displacer Beasts have very sleek skin. We'll use that. Basically, it's a full-on crafting system, and the thing that makes an invention so impactful compared to other things is the invention is the process of learning how to create. It's the process of building, and I think one of the most important parts of all the inventions is the complications that occur along that. That's what turns the overpowered imbalanced theme into a story element. It turns it into the adventure of creating this object that's going to help us in all the other adventures. And I always think that's beautiful. Building, like, I will say as a DM, crafting new magic items is always fun. Like, something that, like, fits their character. Having the character build the item and basically, through these mess-ups and stuff, have a conversation of what the item is going to be in the end. It's beautiful. It's so fun. And it's... Dude, if you're having players like that, that would be amazing. I'd love to hear about your inventions with that. Most of my inventions broke the game, but like God, we were a tier 3, so the game was already broken. That being said, yeah, I think the problem is the best answer for most things is work with the players about it. But yeah, I think the most important thing with if you're creating constructs take time. As you say, it takes a certain amount of time based on their size and CR, and you would need a base intelligence and you would need blueprints. These are all things that are the base intelligence and blueprints are a way to start the quest. The time, the size, these are going to need materials. This is what the quest is. The process of crafting, of constructs, of all that, it's a quest. It's a story. I think that's the best part. The problem is a lot of players will just like, we don't have time to get off track. Can we have this off script? Which I think then the time and cost comes in. Unfortunate, but I love the idea of adventure. Problem with that is then you need to consider materials. Okay, hold up. I'm gonna go check. I know I have to go check my Discord. I have a friend that suggested a material system. The rogue in my party is success with building constructs and vehicles. Yep. Good for them. Hey, Rogue Artificer was literally the theme that I was dealing. Arcane Trickster, no doubt. Alright, let's see. Adventures in the West. We had a pinned... Let's see. I gotta find it. There's a link that I could send out. But Homebrew Natural Crit. Was that it? Yep, Wilderness Survival Guide. I know I deleted links. I wonder if this will allow me to post the link anyways. There we are. Awesome. So this link was to a theme that someone brought up because they wanted to make foragery, adding materials to their system. And one of the things is their system of materials is beautiful, like having that you need the certain elements, like certain items that have elements to have these effects. Then like later on, just having where's all the crafting, aerial crystal, adamantine, beast feathers, armor rock wood, the difference between bone and cold iron, coral, dark steel, well, infernal leather, leaf weave, like all these different materials. I think for story purposes, choosing what material the construct is made of is very important. And so this has a huge list of materials. And oh yeah, gosh, they even have a theme where materials can decay later, and that's an optional rule. But yeah, I think that's having materials, having themes. That's not just hey, I'm going through the system. It's actually hey, I'm trying to build this specific theme. I think that's important. Obviously, artificers, rogues, they have their own system mechanics. Downtime activities, we can use that. But I find it's always weird if you try to allow downtime activities and a few people take full advantage of it and the other people just like, oh, I guess my character hangs out. It kind of adds to a weird imbalancing. At the same time, starting a story where because this character has initiative, we're helping them build their invention. That's also kind of weird. I mean, I personally appreciate it. Usually my characters don't have too much issue with that, fortunately, but yeah, not going to deny that. Alright. So, building constructs and vehicles. I'm trying to think how you build vehicles. I think, yeah, choosing the material for the vehicle, the size, the shape, what the vehicle is built for. I would say if he is... Here's my theme. If your player is obsessed with building these things, I think he could actually build his own blueprints. I would encourage him to do half the work, honestly. Just like kind of say, what's your goal? And let him build you basically he will build you the campaign by telling you what he needs for his system. And then you just implement, all right, this is what you need, and then you do the story stuff. You do that, which I'm not sure what else I have to say. I feel like I said a lot and I repeated myself a lot. So yeah. Right now, he's trying to repair a mech. So he would need to find... So, of course, this is why you're talking about the blueprints, because he needs to know if he's tearing it out, what's going in its place. Obviously, he needs a source of energy. Like, they give the example of the electrical core. Of course, this would be a magic, probably. So, what sort of evocate... Oh, that would be actually really cool to bring the wizard involved. This has some sort of evocation magic. How is... I don't need to ask how he's got it. You're playing D&D, a lot of things happen, okay? We just got... in our campaign, my paladin just got arrested by a bunch of demons in a city. The city's ruled by demons, and my paladin is currently enlisted as a way to try to be espionage, and just got outed by his party. So, yeah, no, you don't need to ask how things happen. It's D&D, things happen. But yeah, so he's trying to repair a mech, so it's always the question of how much does he know about the mech, and how he can learn what he doesn't know. I think that's the most interesting question. That's what leads to the story. Then, obviously, to repair the mech, once it's repaired, it might still be kind of shaky, not exactly. He also did a communist revolution, as all good players do, and as all good dungeon masters allow. Good job. All right. No, I bet. What was the... We've done so many weird stuff. If you go on my channel, there's this old video about the assassination ballroom, where the 26 plans, and then the party proceeded to do 2. And one of them ended up just basically being a prank that, like, I was like, oh, here's the brilliant plan! Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna use that. Anyways... Yeah, no, weird stuff happens. This is D&D. You get people involved with their imaginations. Imaginations go wild. The game. All right. Whew. But yeah, a lot of problem is with crafting these constructs. It's a lot of story. Yeah, one, he fought it in its prototype. He has blueprints for the prototype, so it's not just okay. So then it could also be a question of what is it after he builds it again? How can he improve? If it's a prototype, then there's definitely room for improvement. Which that's a story in and of itself. Like, oh, I played the character. It's like, he doesn't seem that. I would. I mean, you fought it in its prototype, so I guess you know that. We know how strong it is. But yeah, let's see. It seems like you have a lot of this covered already. You were talking about how you have the blueprints, you have the saves. You D&D, if you could think of it, you could also do it precisely. But yeah, it seems like you thought through all of this. You were just telling me because you needed to get one more person to bounce off ideas of. But it seems like you have this already handled. Thank you for bringing it up. I definitely enjoy the extra conversation points. But it seems like I've said everything I could, and you've got some stuff in the works. You've figured it all out. Feel free to bring it up if you'd like, but I'm thinking we're running out of ideas. I think it's coming the time to move over to the next theme.